Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and this is Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman is a very dense, sometimes complex, sometimes bloated movie that has some of the most crazy, most comic book-like imagery that you've ever seen in such a big blockbuster. But I want to be honest with you, leaving the cinema, the dominating feeling for me was disappointment. But let me hear out, because I don't want to hate on the movie in any way. And there were many things in it that I really liked and even some things that I loved. Going into it, I was very excited. I wasn't the biggest Man of Steel fan, and when that came out, my first impressions were similar, but I just rewatched it in preparation for this one, and after the second viewing, I was more into it. I was excited and really wanted to like every minute of it. I mean, come on, it's Batman and Superman. While I didn't grow up with the comics, I totally grew up with the Christopher Reeve and Michael Keaton movies. And actually, Batman Returns is to this day one of my most favorite comic book movies ever. So we will continue this review in two parts. In the first one I won't give you any spoilers, just talking very vaguely about all of it, and then later, after a big fat spoiler warning, I try to go into more detail. So let's begin with the beginning. And oh my god, what a great beginning Zack Snyder put on screen. Accompanied by another intense score of Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL, Snyder puts, similar to 300 in Watchmen, images on screen that could be right out of a comic book. I sure hope this won't be considered a spoiler, but the first minutes of the movie recaptures the origin of the one and only Batman. It's dark, it's haunting, it's very sad, it's brilliant, and to be honest, it was my favorite part of the movie. Then they continue just where they left off with Man of Steel, and that's a very wise choice. All the destruction, all the themes of man and God, superpowers and collateral damage, it all continues, and now from the perspective of a simple human being. Well, maybe not a simple human being, because the guy we are talking about is Bruce Wayne. Is Affleck any good? He's terrific. He has gravitas to him and he makes the best out of the script. A script that unfortunately I have many problems with. A very big chunk, actually almost 2/3 of the movie, is built up to that confrontation between our two most iconic superheroes. And while this build up has many great moments, it also has some heavy pacing problems. The movie jumps around a lot, different locations, many characters. It felt jolty and didn't suck me into it like I was hoping after the great opening. But here are more things I really liked. There's a kick-ass training montage where a shirtless, jacked Affleck is preparing for the fight. Jeremy Irons is a cool Alfred and they showed us a different relationship, but I also thought that he was fairly underused. Perry White, played by Laurence Fishburne, was great whenever he was on screen. There are only a very few situations where the movie allows some humor, and most of the time Perry White is involved. Amy Adams is alright as Lois, even though like in Man of Steel I don't feel that strong connection that apparently exists between her and Clark. But now for the things I had issues with. Wonder Woman. Wow, what a kick-ass theme they gave her. But Gal Gadot, she's okay, she's not terrible, but she doesn't have that gravitas or charisma to her, and her delivery on some lines was very wooden. Jesse Eisenberg, he's pretty much what you saw in the Doomsday trailer.
Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love it.
He comes across very goofy, and while I was entertained of how strange it felt, he wasn't believable as the menacing superbrain. Also, his motivations didn't seem strong enough. I mean, in the end, and that's something you of course already know after the trailers, he is our main bad guy and he just wasn't strong enough for me. But what about the actual fight? The fight we've all been waiting for. Well, it has some nice action for sure, but there was a problem for me. I think from here on I will talk more freely. Of course, I don't give everything away, but I want to address something specifically, and that's all spoiler territory. So before we go there, would I recommend Batman v Superman? Well, with a movie of this proportion, I think it's a rather silly question. If you're only the slightest into comic books or superhero movies, of course you will check it out, and you should. Because even if you don't like it, it's worth and fun talking about it. Spoiler warning, here we go. The problem when it comes to that big showdown is that by that point Luthor's big plan is already in the open for Superman and more importantly for the audience as well. And all of a sudden Batman looks a little bit bad and I don't like seeming that way. So while the fight is going on, I'm not really rooting for him or thinking that his side or maybe Superman's side is more right, because it's more that I think, let's get this over because you, meaning Batman, shouldn't be the villain all of a sudden. When Batman was fighting Superman in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, he had damn good reasons. Well, he has good reasons here too, but we already know that they are false and I didn't like that. After the fight, after realizing they should work together, all the rooting for them works much better. But the movie is pretty much what the second trailer already gave away. They said otherwise, but yeah, all the fighting and of course Doomsday are from the finale of the movie. So no big surprises there. Doomsday is pretty generic, and while his creation looks very epic, in the end it comes down to another big destruction orgy. Only this time it's mentioned casually on TV that the buildings are pretty empty, so the casualties are not reaching that Man of Steel level. But apart from that, I would say that the movie is even darker. The Batman version we got is the darkest one yet for sure. This guy is menacing as hell. He's even fanatic and openly admits to Alfred that by looking truthfully, they always were like criminals. But I'm not surprised, I mean come on, his father is the comedian. He's also a Batman that doesn't have a problem with killing. He doesn't just murder people, but when someone's in the way, the Batmobile will do the rest. And oh my god, that guy has some weird ass dreams, and one specifically is so awesome. It felt like Batman goes Mad Max, and it was one of the more impressive, unique and just plain crazy sequences of the movie. But there are also moments that drag. That's where the movie stumbled the most. The whole midsection never flows. It's jumpy and at the same time constantly comes back to big savior images that, I admit, gave me some goosebumps, but also aren't placed that good regarding to the overall narration. The back and forth combined with overall pretty one-note character motivations almost got to the point where I felt a little bit bored. And oh my god, I should never feeling bored in a Batman v Superman movie. And what about the other characters of the Justice League? What about their dawn of justice? The revelation of Wonder Woman felt kick-ass. The World War I connection was nice, and that feeling of there's more that you only begin to understand really came across. But the other guys, especially Aquaman, felt tacked on and stuffed into the movie only for sequel reasons. Marvel started to do that in the after credits scene, and that didn't disturb the flow of the actual movie. But after all, it's only a very small scene, and I only wish that they could have handled it better. I could really keep on talking about the movie for so much longer, but the review is already long enough. It's definitely a very ambitious movie and one that needs to be processed, and I didn't have the time so far. So please don't destroy me in the comments below, but tell me what you think about Batman v Superman. I only had the best in mind when going into it, and I really liked many parts of it. I don't want to be a troll, I'm just trying to address the issues and the feeling of being let down as well. That's it, please comment below, let's talk about Batman v Superman. Hail to the king, baby!